Chapter 1, Scientific Method. This chapter is about using scientific method in research. Before I start presenting the chapter, I'm going to ask you some questions and also ask you to pause the slideshow after each question, try to answer the question, and then after we finish all three questions, you can proceed with this slideshow. The first question is, are girls more likely to cyberbully than boys are? Second question is, are children of divorced parents less likely to commit to romantic relationships? And the third question is, can parents' preoccupation with their own way influence their children's dieting behavior? Now, how do you know the answer to these questions? Did you personally experience this? Or have you observed people? Or did you just find the answer by searching the internet or reading an article or looking into your textbook? These are the ways we may answer our research questions. But sometimes we can't find the answer on the internet or in a textbook, and we have to do our own research to find the answer. This is what this chapter is about. How you can find the answer to your research question. Now, this chapter starts with the big question: why students are supposed or expected to take a course in research methods. One possible answer is it's a required course. You have to take it. Second, we take this course to be able to read and understand research articles. This means that if you're not familiar with the terms or definitions of the terms that we use in research, it's hard to read and understand research articles. Even harder is to read and understand the abstract or the summary of research articles that usually comes at the beginning of the research papers. More important, after taking a course in research method, hopefully you become a more educated consumer of information. What does it mean? It means you're able to evaluate journal articles. Another reason that you're taking a course like this is to learn how to do research. If you are a teacher, wherever you work, probably you want to do your own research to see how to do things better. The other thing is that you learn about other people's practices. When people try something new, they do a research and they report it, and when you read the literature, you learn how these new practices work. And finally, you become a better decision maker, because when you read research and you make decisions based on evidence and research, probably your decisions are going to work better. And the next major topic in this chapter is the methods in which we learn, or the methods in which we find the answer to our research questions. 5 methods are listed in this section. One is the method of tenacity. The method of tenacity is the kind of things that we learn from other people, from our parents, friends, some generalizations that we have. For example, they say opposites attract. This is something that we believe and we never ask why. The second method is the method of intuition. It's the method in which we answer the questions by the way we feel about it. What do we feel is the right answer to that question? Again, this is not based on research, this is not scientific, this is not even logical, but it's just the way we feel about things. For example, speaking mother language at home will harm students' achievement in school. Without reading research about this, we simply believe that if we are an English learner, we're not supposed to speak in our native language at home because this may harm our children who are supposed to speak English in school. The, the next method is the method of authority. This is the kind of things that we learn from experts. And the experts could be a person or a book, a textbook, or even a website. One of the things that you need to know about the expert is to learn about the limitations of asking or learning through experts. First of all, you got to know that sometimes the expert's opinion are not based on research and could be subjective and very personal. The other thing is that when you say expert, you got to see expert in what. We can't ask all our questions from one specific expert because nobody is expert in everything. And sometimes the people who we trust, like a website that we go or a specific person that we ask questions, is not really an expert. So we got to do our own research to see if the person is really an expert, and also if he or she is an expert in the field that we have question about. The next method is the method of faith. It's very similar to the expert, except that we believe in a person not because of their expertise, but because the authority they have, like religious leaders or the community leaders. We trust them and we follow what they say. The next method is the rational method. The rational method is based on logical reasoning. For example, if a research shows that technology improves learning, and if Mr. Fox uses technology in his learning, we expect that Mr. Fox is successful in his teaching. That's not based on research, it's just a logical reasoning that we use to make our own conclusions. The other method is the empirical method. The empirical method is the method of observation. We observe something and we make conclusions. For example, I use technology in my courses to see if it helps my students. One of the limitations of observation is that sometimes we misperceive or misinterpret what we see. Although we see it with our own eyes, but sometimes we make mistakes. So, for example, for many years people believe that it's the sun that revolves around the earth. Or if you look at this picture, you may think that the vertical line is longer than the horizontal line while they are the same. So even if we observe things with our own eyes, we may make mistakes or misunderstand what we see. None of the methods I just mentioned are as good as scientific method. The scientific method is the method that we're going to talk a lot in this course about it, and simply it involves formulating specific questions and then systematically planning to find the answer to those questions. Sometimes we combine the logical and the empirical and the scientific method together to design a research plan to find the answer to our research question.